Good morning. How you doing? Oh, me? Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm looking at some Woehammer Gloomspike Gitz faction breakdown for December 2023. Ah, I love Warhammer. Please go pay Woehammer a visit. Go check out their site. They're fantastic. Okay, so let's have a look. Ada Paul. Thank you, Ada. Gloomspike Gitz subfaction win rate for December 2023. So the blue bars are combined win rates, the green bars are GT win rates, and the yellow bars are RTT/casual win rates. Let's get a little bit more of a zoom in here. So as we can see, if we're looking at the combined win rates, it looks like Grimscuttle is topping out at 54%. I'm still learning Gitz. Like, I made my How to Win with Gloomspike Gitz video, but I have a feeling that the one that I make 6 months from now is going to be significantly better. So if we're looking at this, like, not gonna lie, right off the top, it's like, what does Grimscuttle even do? Like, I'm not surprised that Trug's Trogherd is at the very bottom of the list here, but like, I would not have this is not the breakdown that I would have anticipated. So Grimscuttle. During deployment, if any friendly Grimscuttle, Skitterstrand, or Arachnaroks have been set up in ambush as reserve units, using the Ambush from Beyond ability, instead of setting up another friendly Grimscuttle Spiderfang unit, you can place that unit to one side and say that it will join a friendly Grimscuttle, Skitterstrand, or Arachnarok in ambush as a reserve unit. Up to 2 units can join each friendly Grimscuttle, Skitterstrand, or Arachnarok as a reserve unit. When a friendly Grimscuttle, Skitterstrand, or Arachnarok set out 3 times fast is set up on the battlefield for the first time, set up all the units that joined it wholly within 12 inches of it and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So, really? That's the one that's winning? I mean, it's not winning GTs, but it has the highest combined win rates at 54%, tied with Bad Snatchers. Like, Bad Snatchers is outperforming it though, because even though the combined win rate is the same at 54%, you can see that the GT win rate is a little bit higher than the RTT/casual win rate. But still, like, people are playing spiders? Is this Conan? Is this just Conan? No, I'm just kidding. So let's just look at some of the GT win rates, because we're a competitive-minded channel. I'm a competitive-minded person, and that's really what I'm interested in. So the highest is still going to be our Bad Snatchers at 54%, followed up number 2 with King's Gitz. This is more like what I'm expecting at 52%. After that is Grimscuttle, still a little bit of a curveball, did not see that coming. And then Jaws of Mork at 49%. It says here Gloomspike Gitz, so that must be factionless. I don't understand. Is this just what it is for the faction as a whole? Could be. About 50% win rate, that sounds about right. It's a good place to be, like, not gonna lie. Being at 50% win rate in the statistics kind of means that you're not expecting really any changes, right? When the stuff comes out, like, nothing to buff, nothing to nerf, so you can feel a little bit safe, so that's good. Yeah, so, and then after that we got the Glog's Mega Mob and Trug's Trogherd at the very bottom at 43 and 42% respectively. I'm not surprised that Trug's Trogherd is at the bottom. The reason, I don't think I commented, maybe I did, but Trug's Trogherd, the big problem with it is just the flexibility of the units. Like, you're not able to bring a lot of the stuff that you want to bring, right? You're kind of locked into doing like a Trogs only list, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't have, like, you can't just bring like a cavalry unit and some powerful casters, at least as far as I understand it. So, like, being locked into your options is definitely something that hurts a lot, right? Like, a good list is a list that can absorb and deal with a lot of different armies, and if you're sort of pigeonholed into bringing a single type of unit, then you're gonna have way more of a paper rock scissors matchup, right? That makes sense, right? The harder you lean into one style or type of thing in a list, the more you're going to counter some lists and be countered by other lists. So it's one of the reasons why I still like Big Wa and I like Gitz and Orcs. and green skins in general, oh, pardon me, is you're able to have a really wide variety of units and war scrolls that you can sort of mix and match to tackle whatever meta you're facing down. So, wow, really surprised here. If just like reading all the rules and playing, I've probably played about 10 games now, but looking at all the rules and my experience, I would think that, like, you know, King's Gitz would be the best one. Playing King's Gitz, the recursion is powerful. So, and I don't feel like you lose all that much. Like, you know, I play Squigs, so if I play Jaws of Mork, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get more damage, but do I need it? Like, do I really need it? Do I need, like, the front row of bounders to be able to fight? Like, one extra attack on the Squigs? It's like, not really. They're kind of just deleting whatever they come across, so, you know, and even, I'm finding that Squig Herd, like, they deal good damage, but that's not really what they're there for. I'm finding that with Squig Herd, all that you do is slap a 5-up ward on it, park it in the middle of the map, and say, move it, because you're not going to move it. So move it. So the extra Jaws of Mork attack isn't all that relevant, because they only charge in once. Right? Like, if you're doing well, like, they'll sit there for 2-3 turns in the middle of the map, you know? So that extra attack deals more damage, but it's not, like, they need to survive, and so the 5-up ward is a lot more powerful. So, and the recursion is better. But yeah, definitely not what I was expecting. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Overall, Bad Snatchers appears to be the most successful subfaction at GTs with a win rate of 55%, while at the RTT setting, the Glogs Mega Mob appears to be having the stronger run with 59%. Weird. Glogs, Bad Snatchers, and Grimscuttle, only 10 tournament entries, all appear to be the strongest Git subfaction with win rates over 50%, while Trunks Trogherd is truly suffering with a combined win rate of only 42%. But that's good. These armies of renown should be at the bottom of the lists. I think by design. I think that if you're Games Workshop and you're trying to design these armies of renown, first, you shouldn't design armies of renown. Okay? Second, they should be weak. Because if they're really strong, then all you're doing is pigeonholing all of the players into playing essentially a single list, and that's bad for the faction. It's bad for the game. So don't do that. Right? They should be weak. This should be what you see, where it's like, this is supposed to be fun and janky, not competitive. Fun and janky, not competitive. Okay, subfaction popularity. So here we go. So we have all lists, GT lists, and RTT casual lists. So if we're looking at all of the subfactions in all of the lists, the Jaws of Mork is the most popular. I think that Jaws of Mork is the most popular because it just, like, Squigs are the, let's be honest here. Of all the Gloomspite Gitz units, we really have 3 books. We have Squigs, we have Trogs, we have Spiders. So I think that Squigs are the most popular of those 3. I think that Trolls are the second most popular. So just to see the fact that Jaws of Mork has the most lists makes sense to me, right? But look at this. Look at this. Like, if we're looking at the popularity, look how low Grimscuttle and Bad Snatchers are, and yet they represent higher win rates, right? Like, I know that it says it right here, but, like, this is really funny to me. It's like everyone's bringing Jaws of Mork. Some people bring King's Gitz and Glogs, and then some noobs are bringing Trunks Trogherd. Sorry, I don't mean to say noobs, but some noobs are bringing the Trogherd. And then some people are bringing Grimscuttle and Bad Snatchers and winning. And they're winning. Like, I've considered Bad Snatchers as a subfaction, but I still think King's Gitz is the best. Jaws of Mork, while having a win rate of 48%, appears to be the most popular subfaction. Yeah. And then let's see, Subfaction Result GTs. So here we have the red bars are 0-2 wins, so like losses, right? The yellow is like that 3-2, and then green is like that 4-up. So you can see King's Gitz is winning, right? King's Gitz is the most winning, and I think primarily it's just because of the recursion. I mean, if we're really looking at these subfactions and we're going to compare and contrast what they actually bring to the table, do you know what King's Gitz brings to the table? They bring a lot of points. They bring a lot of actual units on the table. They bring wounds and saves and damage that you actually physically put down on the table, which is really, really strong. Jaws of Mork brings extra damage on the charge. So, you know, Bounders, do they really need it? Probably not. Squig Herd, do they need it? Probably not. They pump out a lot of damage, right? What else are you really doing here? That gives +1 attack. It's like nothing really. So, you know, they are winning, and that's good. But, you know, Trug Strog Herd, wow, 4-up, 12%, 4-up wins, not too bad. Glog's Mega Mob, lots of losses, right? Lots of losses. Yeah, 7% at the top there, 4-up wins, not very many. And then Grimscuttle is, of course, doing the worst with 0 4-up wins, right? This is kind of what I'm expecting. This is closer to what I would expect. I would, if my prediction would be that we swapped the Mega Mob and Trogherd, and maybe Trogherd at the bottom, but it seems about right. Here we see that the King's Gitz are the faction with the highest percentage of players who achieve 4-up wins in a GT setting, but also they have the highest positive win ratio. Huh. Fair enough. Yep, very, very good. Subfaction results, RTTs. Yeah, King's Gitz kind of at the bottom. This is just RTTs. GTs is what we're really interested in. RTTs, King's Gitz slides down to the bottom, and Grimscuttle sits at the top. I don't know, people I guess are just bringing their fun spider lists. Not very many of them though. Yeah, I mean, to me, I've always found it really interesting, the combination between like what makes a meta the meta. You know, it's like here we see a whole bunch of Jaws of Mork, but the Grimscuttle is very underrepresented, but winning more at RTTs. And so you ask yourself why. And so, well, it's going to be a combination of like the lists that people say are the best, people are going to bring more of. You know, it's like people just bring meta lists to tournaments, and but really good players are more comfortable going outside of the meta and bringing something either counter meta or something that they just like and have fun with and are good with. And so good players are more comfortable to deviate from the meta, and I think that's why you see results like this where Grimscuttle's winning more. It's not because Grimscuttle's better, it's the type of players that are willing to bring Grimscuttle. And I think that's an undervalued and underthought about thing, right? Players win this game. I know that there's a lot of RNG and that lists matter, but like good players win games. Looking at it from an RTT perspective, Glog's Mega Mob replaces King's Gitz with the highest percentage of any player going to an RTT and achieving positive results. Okay, let's see, what's this? Gloomspike Gitz records. Results. Okay, so we're mid. Right, this is kind of bell curved. So this is like a mid army. It's good. Yeah. Faction matchups, win rate versus factions. We slay Cruel Boys. We just slay Cruel Boys. This is a great chart. Look at that, slay Cruel Boys. We slay Sons of Behemoth. I wonder why. Too much recursion. Interesting. Ozark Bone Reapers 50%. 51%. That's cool. Yeah, now we start doing worse against Nurgle, 47%. Soul Black Gravelords, 46%. And we do, wow. This Bone Splitters result at the very bottom is probably unreliable. But we lose to Big Wah. Yeah, I mean, like, Big Wah, like, Gitz in general are bad against good shooting lists, I feel. We have some mobility, but we don't really have a lot of ways to get around Unleash Hell, and our units are not super tanky. You know, the Bounders being on a 4-up save is like some of the best that we have, but a lot of our stuff just dies to shooting. So it would make sense. Yeah. Big Watch is going to outgrind us. They're just a really good list right now. Daughters of Cain, 13%. Fascinating. Is this Bow Snakes? That wouldn't surprise me if this was Bow Snakes. Can't get through Bone Splitters either. It's interesting. Zinch. Alright, kind of makes sense to me too. You know, KO, sure. Like lots of good shooting lists down here. Lumineth. You know, it's good stuff. Let's see. Round performance, win rate by a round. Okay, it's not super interesting. War Squirrel performance. Here we go. This is interesting. Okay, War Squirrel win rate. So let's see, what do these different bars represent? Let's go to the bottom here. Appearance. So, okay, so the gray bar is just how often we see that unit in the list. win rate without, and win rate with. So Scragrot. Wait, hold on. Win rate without. So we see Scragrot in a lot of lists, 62%. And then, sorry. If you don't run Scragrot, there's a 45% chance you'll lose and a 52% chance you'll win. That's a 7 percentage point difference, and we see Scragrot a lot. So it's better to run Scragrot than not. Let's just scroll down and see what units have a way higher win rate. Madcap Shaman at a 9%. So bringing a Madcap Shaman seems pretty good. What else has a pretty high difference here? Dankholds are at -4%. I could see that. I'm not a big fan of the Dankholds. I should do a tier list. -4%. Ooh, that's good. Spore Splatta Fanatics have a 9% positive win rate, inclusion rate. Spore Splatta Fanatics are interesting and good, and it's funny to me to think about this because in the previous chart I was making the point that we kind of stuck to shooting. Well, Spore Splatta Fanatics is a way of helping with that. It's a way of helping deal with that. Spore Splatta Fanatics, I think, are underutilized because I think that people don't quite understand how powerful they can be. Like, I don't think that people really understand what they're doing and how to use them well, right? Because they have an ability called Spore Cloud. Visibility between two models is blocked if a straight line drawn between the closest points of those two models passes across a model in this unit or passes within 1 inch of this unit. So these guys are on 32mm bases. So that's 32 millimeters times 5 is 160 millimeters. I don't know what that is in inches. So let's just do that. 160 millimeters in inches is 6.3 inches. So we'll say 6.3 inches plus, you can have 1 inch between them. So that's 4 inches in the middle, right? 1 inch, and then an additional 2 inches on each side. So it means that this unit can spread out to about 12 inches. So that's a ruler, right? So you can take a 12-inch ruler and put it on the table, and you can say, this is a blocked line of sight. This is a blocked line of sight, right? So only 5 wounds in the unit, so it's not going to survive more than a round of shooting, but it is going to take up a round of shooting. But, like, it's a piece of terrain that you're putting on the table. Pretty good. Let's see what else we got here. Loon Boss on Mangler Squig is -8%. This makes sense to me. The Loon Boss on Mangler Squig is fun, but if you take him, I feel like you have to take the command trait, Fight Another Day. So he's bouncing around all over the map, but I just don't think it's a very strong use of that, having a command trait. Like, it's not a very good command trait compared to what else you can bring, so not surprised to see that the Loon Boss is negative percentage. I've played 3 or 4 games with him. He's fun, but it's not very powerful. Grinkrat the Great has a positive 8% positive, so that's cool. He's good with squigs, but I don't personally like him. I think he's a lot of points. He's too many points for me, and what he does to the squigs is just more damage, and I just don't think that the squigs need it. I think the most important buffs for the squigs are, in fact, did I do a video on this already? I feel like I did a video on this already, but I actually just looked at the squigs, heard and looked at this, right? So the worst buff that you can give them all by itself is the adding 1 rend. The damage goes up just by a little bit. You can't, no way you can see these numbers. There, that's probably better. There, that's good enough. So the best one is Grinkrat. He's going to increase the damage all by himself quite a lot, like a lot of people fighting. And I think he's also, there's a lot of these other buffs where, like, adding rend and adding +1 to hit and squig boss, like he's the buff that really brings it over the top. If you wanted just to get silly with how much damage you were doing, Grinkrat I think is a good inclusion, right? Because if they're proccing mortal wounds in addition on 6s, and if they have +1 to hit, and they have +1 attack from Jaws of Mark, and they have +1 rend, then those are all going to be included in the Grinkrat attacks. you know, they all stack up and they're all relevant. So he's the one where, you know, you're really gonna bring that over the top. But all by himself, he's also the one that brings that damage out the most, right? A lot of squigs die. So if you charge in and you attack with 12 squigs, well, if they all die, well, that's a lot of extra attacks, right? So he's pretty good. I don't like him. I think he's overkill. I think that it's overkill. Sneaky Snufflers, I think, is the most important buff for Herd. But I'm a noob, so what do I know? But Grinkrat is winning 8% of the time more than he's in lists. And the Loon Court, of course, just go with that. Ooh, Scuttletide up 8%. It's interesting. This is just those Grim Scuttle players, right? Bringing Scuttletide. Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squig, way down. Loon Boss, negative 7%. Skitterstrand and Ragnarok up 7%. Fascinating. Web Spitter Shaman plus 5%. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff here. The Ragnaroks in general are all quite up. Really low percentage, but really high win rates. So I would just chalk this up to good players. Again, it's like people aren't bringing them, but when they do, they're winning. It's like, well, who's bringing them, right? Conan's bringing them. He's a Gitz player in my local area. What else is here? Kragnose down 40%. Snarlfang Riders way down. Interesting to me. Way down. Would not have expected that. Malog way down as well. These are probably the most profound differences so far. What else is cool here? Flinger. There's no blue line for the Flinger. No blue line for this Flinger. Weird. Zarbag this and Zarbag's Gitz is this. Weird. So what can we learn from this? Well, people like Scragrot. They include him a lot, and he wins a lot. Scragrot, good. Plus 7%. Boingrot Bounders appear a lot. Negative 3%. Don't know why. Win rate without, win rate with. Yeah, I mean, I would sort of expect Boingrot Bounders to be doing better than this. Do you think that they're just included, like, a lot? And they're just included in all these Jaws of Mork lists? It's interesting. Rock Guts are the same, right? But Rock Guts are a very powerful full unit. Maybe these are just units that are included a lot, and so the win rates are really mixed bags. Could be one of those things. Gobblepaloo's the same thing. You know, really high inclusion rates and about tied. Daghold Trogboss, same kind of idea. You know. Madcap Shaman. Good unit. Great data. War Scrolls not used. Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squig. If you enjoy this article, why not join our Patreon to see these before they reach the website? These and our stats are published on Patreon several days before hitting the website, so you'll be the first to know what's what. Just visit patreon.com/Woehammer. You can join for as little as €1 or whatever this currency is per month. Yeah, definitely go check out Woehammer. Woehammer is an awesome everything. So definitely go check them out. Yeah, I don't know, man. So what can we really learn from this? I think that Jaws of Mork and Glog's Megamob are probably overrated. I think people play them a lot because they're like, I want to build a Trog list, and what sub-faction should I take? Oh, Glog's Megamob. But really, you should be considering Bad Snatchers and King Skits for your sub-faction. Getting a 3 on the Loon Shrine at the end of your turn when you really need a 4-up sucks. But doing the ability twice and re-rolling each and getting everything back all the time feels good. Feels good. It also, I personally feel like as a Squig player, it enables me to be more aggressive. I can say like, well, F these units or these bounders. I'm just going to throw these 10 bounders and I'll trade it for a screen, and I'll trade inefficiently, right? Like I'll trade 300 bounders for 200 points of screen because I'm just going to get 5 bounders back. And then I'll just do it again, right? So, I don't know. Like, subscribe, blah.